Halftime, well, you ought to throttle. You hear about this? The media jumping all over a report that 25% of Mitt Romney's donations have come from the financial sector. You know, those evil bankers and the filthy fat cats. Those are guys bundling the big bucks for Mitt. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, this is good for Mitt, or I guess bad as the media sees it, so bad for Mitt. And then I start asking myself, after thinking to myself, because I do things in stages, I wonder who Barack Obama's big backers are. Are you ready for this? A Fox Business Alert. The same guys, finance guys. I kid you not. You can't make this stuff up. Actually, the president is getting slightly more from those evil money-grubbing bastards. Try 25.6%, more than he's getting from lawyers. That's got to be a first. But that's got to be news, right? I mean, the media would certainly report that statistical oddity, right? Wrong. Only Mitt's millions from the money guys is getting reported, and not the Barack bucks from the same industry. Weird, huh? A little bit of a double standard, don't you think? Look, I have no problem with the finance industry giving to anyone, or any industry for that matter. It is a free country. Folks are free to spend their bucks wherever and on whomever they see fit. But to cite Mitt Romney's 25% financial bundlers and say they're bad, and say squat about the president's slightly more than 25% financial bundlers and say, well, they're not even there, well, that's not even close to being fair. Nor does it give my next guest any fair play. He's one of those financial fat cats, and trust me, he's a nice guy, he's a good guy, he's a decent guy. But I don't think Tom Belesis is exactly a surprise guy. Tom, what do you make of this?
You know, am I a big Romney fan and supporter? Yes. Do I like that he's a business guy? Yes. Does it necessarily mean that a business guy has to be president? No. Look at Ronald Reagan. He was an actor.
Right.
But he surrounded himself with smart business people. You know, under Obama's...
And he had a record in California.
Yeah,
governor.
Yes, absolutely. Same with Mitt, right? Besides being a business guy, he was a great governor. He did a lot with the Olympics. He took it from being negative and turned it into a profit. You know, he created jobs when he was...
No doubt. But I'm saying, does it bother you on any level that the media pounces on the 25% financial support that Romney's getting, maybe guys like you are not nefarious characters, and say nothing about the 25, a little bit more than that, from the same sector that Barack Obama's getting?
It's, you know, the same class warfare that Obama and his administration have been imposing.
Well, why not report it? You know what I'm saying, Tom? Like,
right.
If you're going to argue that money for the financial sector is bad, then why not even mention the 25% plus the president's getting? Or are they all the saints of the profession?
I couldn't agree with you more, Neil. I think you're exactly right. I mean, it comes down to a point as follows, is that under his administration, he has had the fewest appointees in his cabinet that were in the business sector in history, and by a very big margin. So if you look at his ideology, I mean, as Calvin Coolidge once said, the business of America is business. Under this administration, the business of America is government. And you've seen a lot of, you know, the market works on confidence. The economy, you and I, Neil, work on confidence. We're confident in what we do, right? He's had the confidence levels at all-time lows, and the movers and shakers of this economy have sat on the sidelines because they're so, you know, undecided with what to do with their cash on the sidelines that they have in the companies, because they don't know what this president or his administration are going to do. So I couldn't agree with you more when we come down to a point and ask ourselves, you know what? Why not bring out what the president has done? Why not bring out exactly who his donors are? You know, it works both ways. It doesn't work one way.
But what's weird about it, Tom, when you look at it, is there is a war on success, a war on capitalism. It's advanced to the point where Nancy Pelosi is looking at money that Mitt Romney holds abroad and forgetting the fact that reporters didn't have to research that long to find out she has money abroad and investments in Asia and elsewhere.
Right.
So I guess what's good for the goose, whatever.
Right.
But there's a double standard there in a way to question wealth. Yet in a poll that's out today, 3 out of 4 Americans have no problem with the Romney wealth. That's not to say 3 out of 4 Americans will vote for Mitt Romney. They're just saying 3 out of 4 don't even think it's an issue, good or bad.
Right. You know what I think ultimately it comes down to, Neil, is who's right for the job, right? It comes to a point that you need a new coach for the team. And under this administration, this economy has stayed stagnant for 4 years. He's had the opportunity to change what's been wrong with this economy. You know, you kind of come to the fact that, you know, what's the statute at blaming Bush over? You know, he's been blaming...
But you mentioned Bush, Tom,
right.
and this also comes up in some polls. Not all polls, but I think this one of Independence the other day. Some who had crossed over into Romney's territory, depending on the poll, by a lot or a little. But a lot of them say, we don't love what we've seen out of the president, but we remember Republicans and what what happened under them, too. So obviously Romney has to prove himself. But the rap against the former president was that he surrounded himself with top finance guys like yourself, and it still went kablooey. So how do you answer that?
You know what? Those are very good points, Neil, and I got to tell you that, we didn't agree with everything Bush did, but if they want to go down memory lane and not forget the Glass-Steagall Act, the Community Reinvestment Act, I mean, that happened under a Democratic administration, which opened up the doors for this extreme subprime lending and giving money to, low income, unfortunately.
So you think Republicans are getting an unfair rap?
Absolutely, they're getting unfair rap. Don't get me wrong, they're not 100% right.
But how would you convince, obviously you mentioned that you're a Romney guy, and that's fine, but how would you then get someone who's on the fence to say, we know that President inherited a lot, and we know you have doubts about, Republicans, how would you sell them? You got to close the deal with the same folks who brought Barack Obama a bad deal.
I would simply tell them, look where we are now and look where we were 4 years ago. Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago?
Do you think enough people can answer that universally to say I'm not off?
I think that's the message that Romney has to hit. It's all about the economy.
But it was an easy one when Reagan made it with Carter. Is it as easy now?
It can be as easy. You just got to stick to that message. I mean, look at the unemployment rate right now. I mean, people are calling it 9%, but realistically, it's probably closer to 12 or 13%.
No, you're right about that.
In some states, it's even higher. I mean, look what's going on in California. I mean, these states are going bankrupt. There's no money anywhere. Why? Because people don't want to spend right now because they're very undecided and unconfident in what's going on right now in the economy under this administration. And we have to get a new administration in to show confidence in the marketplace and be more pro-business, more pro-entrepreneurial to get the entrepreneurs of America, who are, again, the movers and shakers of this economy, back moving and shaking, Neil.
All right, Tommy, good seeing you again.
Great to see you, Neil.
And this guy put his proof for the pudding was when those occupiers were protesting on the street, he hired one of them. She went on to move on to her own company. So he eats his own pudding. He doesn't look like it, but he does eat his own pudding. Meanwhile, the French are boycotting.